Welcome back to Retirement News Online. Planning for retirement is a long-term journey, and the earlier you start, the more time your savings and investments have time to grow. But retirement isn't just about reaching a financial target, it's also about defining what that stage of life looks like for you personally. Joining me is Ruiter and Bryan Geurink with Pathway Financial Design in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about what retirement, pre-retirement really is. We're planning to leave the workforce. We don't have a paycheck. Every day is supposed to be kind of a Saturday. So how do you know, when you talk to your clients, how do they know if they've saved enough?
Yeah, I think it starts with a value-based discussion of what somebody's goals are, what somebody's plans are. What does retirement look like? Do you have kids in different states, or are you planning on traveling? It's obviously going to depend heavily on everyone's different situations. But I think that's to the core of it, is coming up with people's values, their goals, and then creating a plan, because not having a plan is also a plan, right? So you create a plan, you stick with it, and yeah, I think that's where it starts.
Do you find sometimes that clients come in and they really are surprised by retirement, about not having a place to go in the morning to work, and they really haven't fleshed out what their goals in retirement are going to be? When you run into that, how do you manage that?
Yeah, first of all, I usually start off with asking them what their hobbies, what they like to do. Are they involved in church activities, those types of things? Because actually I've seen this with a couple of my clients already too, where when they go into retirement, they get, the first couple days are great, but then after that they lose some interest and they get bored, and so they need to find a hobby and something to do, especially those go-getter retirement people who've been working hard their whole lives, and all of a sudden you just have to try and turn that off. They can't do that. So we try and work through some of that with them, as well as just making sure the financial plan is in place and adapting it as needed.
And I think a proper financial plan sometimes can reveal some opportunities that they didn't even think about. So you've got people coming into retirement spending 20, 30, maybe 40 years in retirement. And so how do you help them make sure that they do not run out of money? Because that's a long time. We have to kind of protect what they worked so hard to build, but we have to keep our foot on the gas pedal in one sense.
Yeah, again, it starts with creating the plan, and there's got to be some adjustment in there, because there is so much unknown, right? There's things we do know. 10 out of 10 people are going to die, right? So there's definitely things that are going to happen.
Appreciate that.
But it's not known when, and there's a lot of changes, not only in the world and in your personal life, but also products and things that are available, insurances, long-term care. There's so many different things, and so it really comes down to trying to mitigate risk. For a long-term strategy, for sure, because like you said, people are living longer, and so retirement can be 30, 40 years or whatever the case may be.
And I guess it's important to have a contingency plan, because like we've seen back at the time of this broadcast, we're here in July of 2025. Back in April, we saw the market dump 3,000 points in one day. That's going to cause some people to freak out sometimes, so you have to have a plan in place. How do you develop a contingency plan to make sure we're not just talking about, for example, what the market does, but what happens in your life? What if somebody passes away? What if somebody all of a sudden becomes incapacitated, or they need long-term care? So you have to figure that out too, don't you?
Yes, that's a very important part of the plan, because that's the easiest way to wreck your plan, is to not plan for some of these events in your life. So like long-term care or somebody passing away. And products are constantly changing, evolving, and so we need to keep up with that so that we can keep up with that for our clients, to adjust the plan as we have it. And if we do our jobs right, we can take that peace of mind for them and make it much easier as they go through those market ups and downs. Because I always tell my clients, it's not if, it will happen. We're going to be on a roller coaster, and just a matter of where we're at. So, and if you have the right products in place, last dip in April, I had only one retirement client actually call me freaking out. And the good thing was, the other ones were in a different product that they knew what was going on, and we had protected that, and we were ready for that. So they didn't even have to call me anymore. So they could go on and keep doing what they wanted to do.
Well, it seems like, as I said before, it's our last question, that a lot of people come in, they're thinking they have a plan, or they've got something. It's really this big drawer full of statements, and that's kind of one-dimensional. So both of you, when you run into something like that, which is probably very common, right? Yeah. How do you begin?
First part is just organizing those statements usually, and then trying to get an idea. We kind of find out what is their current plan. Like I said, everybody has a plan. Sometimes no plan is still a plan, but figure out where they're at, and then where can we tweak this, and where can we make these things better so that we can meet the goals and the requirements that they want to have in retirement.
Yeah, and I think it just starts with that organization of just even identifying what do we have out there, what do we have going on, and is there a plan, isn't there a plan, and if there's not, you certainly should make one. And it's not uncommon to run into people that are even, have accounts out there they even forgot about, past 401ks, you name it. And so it certainly comes down to identifying what's going on first and then creating a plan off of that.
And I think a lot of people just find themselves, they're not planning, not retirement plan, they're retirement hoping.
Yeah.
And having a plan is the one fix that's going to really help you. Right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
This has been Retirement News Online. We'll be back. Thanks for watching.